This is a syndicated gardener. Dotson.
Hello, welcome to the Skinny Jean Gardener podcast. You're very welcome. I hope you're doing well. I've got a really interesting podcast. No, they're all interesting. Podcast for you this week. I won't sing too much because that's coming up next week on the podcast.
Migration. Skinny Jean is not my lover. It's just a guy that taught me about gardening. Skinny Jean is not my lover. It's just a guy that taught me about gardening. Skinny Jean is not my lover. It's just a guy that taught me about gardening. Skinny Jean is not my lover. It's just a guy that taught me about gardening.
Hello and welcome to a very special House
Yo, what is going on? I hope you're doing well, my friend, and welcome to the podcast sponsored by the awesome people of manomano.co. You know it, Mano. I've got a great podcast. I don't know why I'm saying it's so amazing, but I just edited it, and the main chat today with Mr. Charlie Benton, live from the Skinny Jean Gardener podcast festival back in August. And it's all about, I'm really getting at the moment, it's that time of year, it's winter, isn't it? It's like, what do you grow at winter? I've just actually done a quick Instagram about, I've got some bulbs coming in. I've got a whole massive box of tulip bulbs come through my letterbox. They ain't getting through the letterbox. Maybe not through the letterbox. Anyway, massive box, and I'm going to start bringing some flowers into the garden. Tulip. Who would have thought in 2019 I'll be getting into tulips? I've got to get them planted really soon, actually. Before Christmas, I've been told. Can I do it? Yeah, I'll get it done. But other than that, I'm not growing much at the moment in the garden. It looks a bit sad, actually, from the office. Not a lot of greenery apart from the grass. But there's one thing I'm getting into. You heard last week. Was it last week? The week before? Yeah, it was last week. I was talking about buying a worm farm. Luckily Sam doesn't listen. My missus doesn't listen to this podcast, so luckily she's not questioned it yet. But I'm going to get one from manomano.co.uk. I think they're 60 quid. I put the link in last week, didn't I? I've been getting bang into the wildlife thing recently, really getting into it. So when I edit this podcast with Mr. Charlie Benton, I thought, do you know what? This is making a lot of sense. I like this. I like this a lot. So this week is a total wildlife-friendly podcast. Now, we're not going to have Mr. Ed Bird this week. We're not going to do a 1-minute activity. We are just going to go straight into... Do you know why I'm not? I'll tell you why, shall I? Let me tell you why. It's Christmas. I've got a lot of Christmas shopping to do. I'm sure you have. I've doubled up on the time, tripled up actually on the time next week for the podcast. So let's let this chat do the talking. I'll see ya on the other side. It's the garden chit chat, the garden chit chat. It's the garden chit chat, the garden chit chat. It's a garden chit chat, it's a garden chit chat. Chat, 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 chat. The garden chit chat. Mr. Charlie Benton, everyone.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining us, mate.
I've got my little black book with me. It's a book of tricks.
Book of tricks.
Well, everyone else has like a little black dress, but in the gardener's world, we have a little black book. Do you have one?
No, mate.
Well, you should get yourself one. It's all the rage. Everyone's talking about it. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. That's good.
Thank you very much.
Cool. So we've got you down, mate. Thank you for coming to Colchester.
No, thank you.
Beautiful place, beautiful people.
From Kent to Essex and back to Essex, back to Kent.
You're coming to talk to us today about wildlife and getting wildlife into gardening.
Yeah, well, I think you do a lot with plants, growing, sowing, eating, and I think let's bounce off that and let's grow some things that can grow wildlife in the garden.
Yes.
And not only that, wildlife is a spring, summer, autumn and a winter thing. So it's every month, every year, every week you can be doing something in your garden to help the wildlife.
That's the thing with gardening. Everyone thinks that come autumn time, it starts closing up for winter. When actually, with wildlife, like I say, continues through.
Well, with wildlife, when one door closes, another one opens. So everyone starts putting the garden to bed. Well, sometimes when you put the garden to bed, that becomes a hive of activity for wildlife in your garden. Everyone closes the doors, but don't forget the hedgehogs want somewhere to go.
Hedgehogs are important, mate.
And when my client goes to me, "Oh, Charlie, we've seen no hedgehogs in our garden this year. What can we do?" Well, apparently that seems more important when they ask me about what I've done in their garden that day. They'll come out and go, "What can we do to bring the hedgehogs into our garden? We haven't seen none." I was like, "Well, let's get to action then. Let's start putting a plan together for these hedgehogs." So that's how, I think we should just involve more wildlife into the garden.
I love hedgehogs. One of the things I always talk about hedgehogs is if you've got a problem with slugs, they're great to come into the garden, like attract them to the garden and get rid of these slugs for you.
Yeah, so what they do is with slugs, they sometimes put a little beer tank down, don't they, for all the slugs. They want to kill the slugs. The only problem I've got with that is that you end up feeding the slugs the booze.
Yep.
Slugs sometimes come back out if they can. The hedgehogs then eat the slugs, and then you've got a half
Say what?
hedgehog walking around your garden, doesn't know how to get back home.
Thanks for the language.
Sorry. We were live.
Yeah, exactly. One of my mates for hedgehogs, we're going straight into hedgehogs here, mate.
We are. We love them.
One of my cool, easy makes that I do all the time for my shows is getting like a green plastic box or any plastic box, 15 centimetre hole in the front, a couple of air vents in the side, and then putting it up against a fence line. It's a really easy make, and then covered it with logs. And then
leaves.
I always say, do you guys, Olive, would you like a hedgehog decorating your bedroom? No, I wouldn't like a hedgehog decorating my bedroom.
But apparently people are buying them, aren't they?
Buying-
People are buying pet hedgehogs, I've heard.
No way.
It's what I've been told. I don't believe
True story.
it. But we're going to have to start Googling it. It's got the answers. No, but I just thought, so let's start at the basics. No matter how big or how small your garden is, you can do something with it, whether it's a terrace, a balcony, a little tiny garden, or if it's a big garden.
Yep.
And what everyone tends to do is they get a bird feeder.
Yeah, love a bird feeder.
They love a bird feeder full of the seeds, but they don't think about getting a bird bath.
No,
Now
it's important.
the two coincide with each other, so I'm going to put my little book down. So if you get a bird feeder and you get a bird bath, that's going to get more birds coming in, isn't it?
Yep.
If you just got one bird feeder and then you get another one, it gets a bit messy. So encourage them to have a wash. They love it. They have a little dapple.
Make
So-
your garden the go-to place, not just a pit stop.
Yeah, and also the seeds that they end up throwing on the floor, they end up growing in your borders, and then you've got to weed it as well. So you're working with nature, nature's working with you. It's giving you a job. Yeah, and then moving on from there, upcycling, recycling, that's what we're all about. Making bird boxes from pallets, bits of wood,
Yes.
anything laying around, bits of decking, even composite decking, plastic decking. But did you know a different hole in the bird box will let a different bird in?
I never
So
knew
they
that.
can't all have the same hole.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and some like them square, and some don't even like a hole. They just like a top window left open.
What other ways can we attract birds apart from just giving them a home to live in?
planting stuff that's going to encourage them into the garden. So you want, if you're going to plant a tree,
Yep.
make sure it's a tree that's a flowering and a fruiting tree,
Okay.
because that's going to encourage more birds. So it doesn't have to be a fruit, but maybe a tree that's got nuts on. Cob nuts, walnuts,
Yep.
they're all going to love all that. Crabapple trees, you got the flower and you got the fruit. The blackbirds are forever picking the crab apples off the apple tree, so that's
Absolutely
good.
perfect. If we've only got a balcony, how can we attract birds to a balcony if we wanted to?
Well, they do like a bit of coverage, don't they? Like a bit of foliage.
Yeah.
So you could cheat a little bit and get artificial.
Oh,
plants.
mate.
Ooh.
Oh.
Which is it, a black note? I think okay. We get maybe a small conifer, and we stick a bird box on the wall next to the conifer, so then it's got a tree to hop onto, and then into the bird box, and then it feels safe and secure.
Yeah. So, what other sort of wildlife can we get into the gardens?
Well, I had a brilliant chat with Matt about bats.
Oh yeah, bats.
So you got nest boxes, bird boxes. Why not put up a bat box?
It's not bad. We've got so many bats around our area. Honestly.
You should give them a home.
I don't know.
Give them a bat box.
Should we
You
get
can have.
bat box? No, we'll think about it.
But you could say you got Batman living in your garden.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? So yeah, bat boxes, and I've got into them lately. We went out for a walk the other night, and I had a little bat detector in my hand, and was going out, and it's a lovely late summer evening. It's quite warm, and there's a bit of moisture in the air, and we was out watching moths.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of moths about, and we're shining the torch up. There's a moth. There's it gone. I've got the bat detector out. You can hear this. Right, that bat's had its lunch.
Oh, wow.
Super. And I was like, this is incredible. Nature, right there, gone. So I think we should get bat boxes.
Okay, we'll work on bat boxes. We'll see.
We
how
can put them on
go.
trees, on buildings, on roofs.
What about like insects and bugs? Like, I always talk about bringing like a bug hotel into the garden, especially for kids. Like, really
Yeah.
cool for them to see that.
Love it. Yeah, bug hotels are brilliant. You can make those out of stackable pallets or out of anything, really, can't you? Or even, I did see in a garden. I didn't particularly like it, but it was quite a good idea. Get a bamboo cane,
Yeah.
cut it up to about 4 or 5 inches, so you get a long old cane, and then maybe cable tie it, and just put that in the borders.
Yeah.
Insect hotel, isn't it?
Perfect.
They're going to love it. In they go. The bees will love it. The insects will love it.
Another way is just getting like an old plastic bottle, a big plastic bottle.
You love
And-
your plastic. Don't you?
Well, I like reusing stuff and
Recycle, yeah.
and try not to use as much as possible. They're not listening, luckily, so I'll get away with saying that. But and then getting some cardboard and then rolling it up inside it.
Yeah, do
And then pushing it
ladybirds
in.
like that?
Yeah,
and
love it.
Wood lices and things. No,
Really easy.
brilliant. And then you need to encourage them with also plants as well.
Yeah, let's talk more about what sort of plants we can bring into the garden, because I always talk about wildflowers.
Wildflowers
It's
are a good one.
Easy one. But what other sort of plants can we bring in?
So, not necessarily wildflowers. Just start talking about bigger plants. Everybody knows the butterfly bush, the buddleia.
Yep.
Brilliant plant. Different species, different specimens. But did you know, apparently, the buddleia only release its nectar at certain times of the day and doesn't always release it. So then, it sends out little capsules of oil.
Right.
So then it keeps the butterflies and the bees coming back. So if it kept releasing it, the butterflies and bees would be there all the time. And they'd be
really
on
good.
one plant, they'd be hooked for life. So it only gives them a little bit at a time, which helps them pollinate other plants.
Exactly. That's why they're so important to bring them into the garden.
Butterflies, bees, bumblebees, love it. But then you've got lilacs. Lilacs a good one. Lilacs a good plant. Fennel, grasses.
Oh yeah.
Poppies. I mean, we love wildflowers, poppies and things. But there's a list as long as my arm. And coneflower.
Oh yeah.
Echinacea. Lovely big dome on it, a bit like this microphone. And it's got leaves that come down and it attracts them. And you just see them all buzzing around.
Absolutely perfect.
Try not to get stung. I'm forever getting my phone out. Oh, look, it's a bumblebee. Oh, look, another one.
The thing is bringing them in, especially if you've got like a vegetable patch or bringing flowers down to your allotment, like we say, is for pollination.
Well,
really important for your plants.
Pollination is massively important. I mean, let's take the supermarket. Let's just go out of the picture. Now, if we didn't have bees, butterflies, insects, pollinators, we probably wouldn't end up with 3/4 of the produce in our supermarket, and we probably wouldn't end up with a lot to eat on our plate.
Yeah.
So these insects and birds and the bees are a massive importance to our lifestyle.
Yeah.
So we need to look after them, we need to encourage them, and we need to help them. And in return, we're going to get benefits, reaps of rewards.
I've got a really cool little make for bees, which is like a teapot, like an old
Yeah.
China teapot, and then you put cotton wool balls inside it, and then you glue the top on, and then you bury that underground, just with like the little, what's it called, the spout. Thank you, Brooke. It's coming out, and it makes a nice little home for them to live in.
That's
You
a
ever
nice
tried that
idea.
before?
No, we're going to give that a go. We
Okay,
could
mate.
learn something here.
Yeah, well-
I'll teach you something, you teach me something.
Mano, mano.
Mano, mano.
Ho, 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 it's Merry Christmas from me, Santa Claus. How are you all doing? I'm here on the podcast to tell you about a very special website that I don't tell anybody, but I use them for some of my presents for the family. And some for the kids too. It's manomano.co.uk, and they sponsor this very great podcast with the Skinny Jean Gardener. Now, I know it's coming up to Christmas, you may have a little bit of time off. And I'm quite busy, actually. I was going to say I've got some time. I do after the big day. And I'm going to do Boxing Day. I'm going to have the whole day sorting out some of the garden, yes. I didn't realise this would be quite such a long chat about it, but I'm going to build something, I'm not full what yet, in the garden, and I'm going to get that project finished this week. And you know what? Bring it back round now. You know what? Mano, they're selling literally... Santa Claus. They're selling literally... They're literally selling everything you could possibly need for the next DIY or garden project. Fill up your basket now on manomano.co.uk for everything for this weekend's project, and enjoy the rest of your day, saving the knowledge that your tools and materials are on their way. Mano are here with the best products, the best brands, at the biggest range, at the best of prices. manomano.co.uk. Get that project finished this weekend. manomano.co.uk, where Santa Claus buys his presents. We got through it. Please continue.
No, I was having a chat with our B-man, Chris, over there, because I've got a couple of clients where they've got some big gardens, big grounds, and we want to introduce, well, they've got lots of plants, and I'm seeing all these little bumblebees and things running around, and I want to know how I can help them, help the bees, help the plants, and see if me and the bees can work together.
Yeah.
Is it all right if we get Chris on to ask him how we can help
where
the
is he?
bees?
Here he is. Oh, look, he's ready to go. Look.
Chris the bee man.
Sorry, mate, I didn't see you in an outfit.
So Chris, we want to know, how can we help the bees?
You could get a beehive.
Yeah. And what sort of money are we looking for a beehive?
It can sort of range. You can get like a starter kit for sort of about 250 quid up.
Not a lot of money?
Not really, no. Not. Yeah, and then the best thing to do is get in touch with your local beekeepers association and start a conversation with them.
Nice. So you're looking about, say, 250, 260. That's less than £1 a day to look after the bees. I'm all up for it. What's your best top, maybe 5 plants for the bees?
Oh God, I've got no idea about that. Yeah,
Well,
I don't know. They tend to forage and sort of find nectar from all sorts of areas, but they can travel up to a 5-mile radius to gather nectar. And
I'd imagine lavender's a good one.
Lavender's a really good one. Yeah, we tend to see a lot of our bees going around our lavender in our garden. So
nice. Buddleia, is that a good one for bees?
Probably, yeah.
Even though it's a butterfly bush,
Yeah.
Do they share?
Yes, yeah.
That's good. And what do you get back off them? Obviously, honey.
You can get a lot. Yeah, you get honey. You get the wax as well, which
Wax
you can use
as well,
for candles.
beeswax?
Yeah, that's really good. You can eat the honeycomb as well. Yeah,
Eat the honeycomb as well.
Yeah.
What's that remind me of? It reminds me of a Jungle Book, isn't it? Where was it Beluga's going up the beehive and he's pulling out
Yep.
and he's eating that? I don't think I've ever seen it. Have you not? You've got children. You need to watch Jungle Book. Oh, wait, brilliant. No, thanks for that, Chris.
Yeah.
We want to do more for the bees.
Yeah,
and the bees will do more for us.
Exactly. Well, they're a vital part of our, our sort of structure, for the environment and everything else.
Would you agree that without the bees, we wouldn't have half the stuff in the supermarkets without them?
Exactly. Yeah. So anything we could do to help them be brilliant.
So we that's what we're on now. We're on a mission, a bee mission.
Yeah.
Be kind.
Be kind.
Be
Exactly.
nice.
Yeah.
No, thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
If you want to talk more to Chris, he's over there saying his beautiful honey. Right,
It does look
little
nice,
clap for
doesn't
Chris,
it?
everyone. Got more of a clap for Chris there than I did earlier on, so unbelievable.
We're just warming up.
Very
Just warming
popular. He's
up.
a very popular guy. So is wildlife something that you like? Is that the one thing that you love?
I do.
Get into.
I tell you why. Because we do work hand in hand. That is the main thing. I'm working a lot of gardens. Okay, I do landscaping, and I'm very conscious about when I'm landscaping and creating gardens, hard landscaping, that we do think about, all right, we're ripping a garden up when we're laying a lot of paving,
Yep.
that we need to think about what we're doing to the garden. Some people have beautiful gardens, all overgrown, and sometimes they're just beautiful, left, overgrown. They're doing more good to nature, and until we come in with a digger, dumpers, rip it all up, lay a paving, brilliant.
Yeah.
Pounds in your pocket, but you need to think about what you're doing to nature. So I'm always conscious. I'm always going out at the weekend. Not only that, gardening's seasonal, and when we've had a very hot summer like we have, the flowers are going a lot quicker, and I think, is this having an effect on our nature? Is this having an effect on our wildlife?
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to help them? They've had a hard time. We've had a hard time. Let's see if we can work together.
Yeah, definitely. Earlier on, you talked about very briefly before I shut you down, fake plants, but
Yeah.
also like a lot of places. Like my friend's just bought a house, and they offered him AstroTurf for his garden. Which there's so many things we can go in AstroTurf, but for wildlife, that sort of thing's really not good.
It's really going to kill it. I mean, I used to lay artificial grass, and I used to think that if I could lay artificial grass, but in return give the client a plant, because I felt guilty. So I was like, okay, we're laying 4 metres by 4 metres of artificial grass. Now we're stopping insects, moths maybe in the grass.
Yep.
Slow worms. I was talking to someone earlier about slow worms.
Oh, wow.
They said they can't find them. And I remember when I was a kid, going out at the weekend, lifting up rocks, lifting up tarpaulin, corrugated stuff, finding slow worms. So, in that sense of artificial, we are taking away wildlife. People are planting artificial plants because they don't want the maintenance of clipping, pruning, watering, plants in baskets.
Yeah.
I've seen people with evergreen artificial walls, but then people are now turning that into green living walls, which is a brilliant idea. I think if you're also doing new builds, there's regulations now when you're doing new builds on what can you do to incorporate nature into what you're building, especially in London.
Yeah.
They want you to have green roofs, sedum roofs, things like that. So I think it's a big part of our life as well.
100%, man, 100%. Well, thank you so much to come and talk to us about wildlife.
Oh, have I bored you?
No, we've got a lot to get through, man.
right.
But you're going to be back later?
Yes.
For Gardener's Question Time?
Yeah, Gardener's Question Time.
So
I'm excited.
Are you? I am as well.
come
No, I
on.
mean I am as well, yeah, definitely.
About 3 questions.
No, we'll get more on that. We've got some questions going, yeah? Ready to go? Awesome
Good.
stuff. Thank you very much, everyone. Charlie Benton.
Lovely, cheers.
Cha 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 cha. The garden chit chat. If that doesn't inspire you to get out in the garden over Christmas, maybe make a little hedgehog home. Maybe make sure you feed the birds. We've talked about it a lot for the past few weeks about wildlife. I'd love to see some of your wildlife pictures coming through. And if you do, get on the old Mano and see what you can get on there. There's loads of links. Pop back, guys. Next week we're on our 90th episode of the podcast. We've got to do something special for our 100, haven't we? Let's get through 90 firstly. Let's get through 90. We've got 90 episodes, and the last at least 10, 11, maybe 12. Mano have been with us for a good old few weeks now. Hang on, let me just fly back. Let me just look. 70. Yeah. Since podcast 74, we've had Mano on board. And yeah, we've got some amazing makes to look back on, to pop back there, guys. I know you ain't got time right now, but what we do have time, just to see us out, we're not going to have the normal outro this week. We're going to have my Christmas single. At time of recording, we've got 2,000 views on the old Twitter of it, which is incredible. On the old YouTube, we've got 50 views. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Not so good on the 52 on the YouTube. Must do more on YouTube. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really excited. Look, the next week's podcast is a Christmas special. Then we've got a New Year's special. Then I'm back proper in the new year. But don't miss Merry Christmas special coming out next Monday on Christmas Eve. And on New Year's Eve, the New Year's special as well. I've got some great guests and a lot of laughs coming up on that. We're back then in the new year with Mr. Jim Buttress. Back to the gold. I've got some great stuff planned for the new podcast in the new year. Watch out for them. Rumour has it, guys, alright? Could get 2 podcasts a week in 2019. Just saying, could happen. Could happen. Many thanks for listening. I shall see ya. Good luck with your Christmas shopping as well, because I'm struggling. I'll see ya next week. The second I go on Insta, I see Perry's there. I think to myself, that's a lot of chest hair. Now I know not to go. I've got agents of feel call me the second best. Dave Lifton's calling me out for a Christmas song, but we know no competition, bro. I asked Subix for a barbecue, she never got back to me. I asked Monty for an interview, his agent said he's got no time, you see. I even said please, but I still wish you Merry Christmas! I still wish you Merry Christmas! I still wish you Merry Christmas! I still wish you Merry Christmas. I had exclusive on the podcast with Monty's Dark Nigel. Then grow like when it blows it by saying that it's me. Oh, thanks, Matty. Sean J's moving on to another allotment now. But what about Rusty the cat? I don't know. Where's his home? I went all the way to Dublin to see the Jedi Master, to tell him about these podcasts that should keep popping up, and I asked him what to do. And he just said, wish you Merry Christmas! I still wish you Merry Christmas! I still wish you Merry Christmas! I still wish you Merry Christmas! We've got podcast guys and listeners for Monday every week. And honestly, we've got some that put me straight to sleep. At all that said, I made a lot of mates along the way. I was podcast finalist at this year's GMG, and I know a Subix going well for a bit of tea or Monty chatting. To me, I would have took that trophy away. And I know if Subix come round for some tea and Monty, he could have chatted to me, I would have took the trophy away. I still wish you Merry Christmas.
This is a Cinemaker Gardener Dotson.